Reed has many close friends, so I was honored when he asked me to be his best man. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I know it's been a trip for some, but what a beautiful place to have it at, in addition to the sentimental value it has. And yes, sentimental value even to Reed. So I'd like to thank Kristen's family, especially her father, and also my parents for making this possible, having all of us together. Also giving many of us excuse for a brief vacation. So Reed and I have been brothers for 16 great years. And yes, this is a legal marriage, but I figure about a third of the time we were fighting overly competitive. But we both matured some since high school and now have an actual natural friendship, so we really enjoy that. But we're close in age, so we've always kind of shared some of the same hobbies. We have hockey, paintball, skiing, snowboarding, and some others. But Reed has always applied a certain edge or spice to all of his pursuits. So, I love skiing with him, but he's one guy that won't just blindly follow down the hill. So, I've tried to convert Reed to climbing, but somehow there's not enough adrenaline there for him. It's too slow paced, I guess. But despite Reed's attempts at persuasion, downhill biking is something I won't try. I don't consider myself too timid or safety conscious, but I just think it's crazy. These trails he goes down are steep, loose, covered in sharp rocks, surrounded by trees with steep slopes going down the side. I once asked him, what happens when you fall off your bike, you go around rolling down the hill? And he casually proceeds to explain, well, you kind of want to guide yourself away from a rock into a bush if you can. He's grinning at me and going like this, I'm just like, that is just crazy. But it's moments like these and many others that surprise me at the level of passion Reed has for what he loves to do. All throughout high school and college years, family friends would come and ask Reed, how are you doing? You know, have you broken any bones? What crazy things have you done? Did you almost die? That kind of stuff. And then they'd often turn to me and say, how are you doing? How do you enjoy your school classes? How lame would I feel? But, you know, that's just who Reed is. He doesn't hold back. You know, he's never been lacking in determination. He has very high expectations of himself and of others. So that said, he can be a little high maintenance. So for those who don't know Reed very well, I don't want you to be disillusioned into some fearless daredevil or adrenaline junkie, as he does have a partially sensitive side to him, though well hidden at times. But during childhood, I think it was best expressed maybe in timidity. Like two examples come to mind: being afraid of the dark, and then being afraid of dinosaurs after watching Jurassic Park with my parents. But I, being the loving older brother that I am, capitalized on this. And after my parents went to bed, occasionally I turned the hall light off and make some noises, some of them resembling dinosaurs. And then during his early teenage years, he wasn't as confident as he is now, so I wanted to fit in and dress with what was popular, going through the whole Abercrombie and Fitch phase. Can you see it in him now? So, yeah, but as he established his personality throughout high school, my dad and I used to joke about his hat being a good indication of his attitude. So started out, you know, facing forward, kind of popped up a little bit as floating on his hair, kind of indicating preppiness, and then straight back to indicate coolness, and then back forward again, popped up, but off to the side to indicate preppy coolness with a disregard for orderliness. Then it kept just rotating. We got greater and greater angle, and kind of the brim flattened out, occasional sticker on top, you know, kind of communicating knowledge of many things, with mischievousness, of course, too. But now Reed is most certainly confident in who he is, his personality and his character, which is a good thing. His confidence is required to impact your culture. But I would say Reed's sensitivities may be best now seen through his intolerance of injustice and his compassion for those who are weak, oppressed, or burdened. And I think Reed truly does have a heart for people as long as they're not frustrating or stupid. So for those of you who do know Reed and Kristen both well, you know that Reed couldn't ask for anything more than who Kristen is. Kristen is incredibly sweet, self-sacrificing, and can make anyone feel special. Yeah. You always put other people first. You prefer the outdoors, you're low maintenance, and you pay attention to uninteresting things. I mean, like, she actually went to watch Reed water his dirt jumps in the swamp. That's a pretty good person right there. And I forgot to mention she's also a snowboard instructor and can shred on a bike too. So, but Ruth and I are very blessed to have her as our sister-in-law, though not for her biking skills, although she does rock climb too. But Reed, if you take the same drive and vigor that you have, that you bring to all areas of passion in your life, and you apply that to loving Kristen as your wife as Christ loves the church, you'll have the healthiest of marriages. Marriage does take some work sometimes, but your drive and your commitment to excel and be the best at what you believe is important will help you be the husband that God wants you to be. And you two really are an amazing match, and I believe that you will be the best of friends throughout your marriage. But since you're human, you'll disappoint each other at times. So if you place Jesus Christ at the center of your marriage and make Him the reason for your kindness, your faithfulness, and your self-worth, you'll be able to stand any trial and be strengthened all the more for it. So reading Chris.
Reading on paper and reading on my Android. I met Kristen Wall in high school. She was a year younger than me, which worked out perfectly because I was not as mature as I should have been for my age. So it worked out perfectly. Anyhow, Kristen wasn't just a typical best friend. She was an adventure. And I would say the majority of our adventures were actually in my car. A lot of them were. I used to consider Kristen my lucky charm because I got pulled over, 7 or 8 times with you in my passenger seat, and I got warnings all 8 times. And one time she wasn't in the car with me and I got pulled over and I got a ticket, so she's my lucky charm. We listened to probably the same 5 songs for a span of 5 years, and we would drive around at 4 a.m. And I'm not sure if we were trying to hit the bunnies or we were trying to avoid the bunnies. But we were driving and there was bunnies in the street and we would chase them but then slam on our brakes to make sure we didn't hit them because we weren't that evil. But that's what we did it for you. We would go through our country phase, which was a fun phase, where we would listen to country music nonstop and we would go fishing. We went fishing like so much for a span there, but we never actually caught fish together. Like we did, like she did on her other trips, like with her dad and stuff, but we never together actually caught a fish. It was pretty silly. But there was one trip where we went to Bear Creek Reservoir, I think, and we were there for like 4 hours and we didn't catch anything. And it started raining and pouring, and we danced around. We danced around. It was just an amazing time. It was like one of those Hollywood movies, you know, where they're making out and the rain's coming down. We were not making out. It was like, you know those movies where it's raining crazy and you usually don't see that? Well, that's what this was like, and we were just running around dancing and it was warm. It was one of my best memories ever. No making out. It came out really wrong. One of our sayings was, together our brains make one brain. And this sounds bad, but we were kind of ditzy when we were younger, and we would say that we each had half a brain, and that together we made one normal person. So together we could function normally, but apart it was disastrous. Well, anywho, I guess now that you're getting married, I have to give my other half of my brain to you. Which sucks, it means I am pretty much in trouble now. Another one of our sayings was we always end up where we need to go. And that was because we used to, only having half a brain. We would try and go somewhere, and we would always get lost, and it would always take us 3 times as long as MapQuest would estimate to get to our destination. But we would always, the journey was always the best part, and we always got to the end. And I think that, that's funny that saying that we always said ends up being kind of real, because the next step in your journey is marriage. Sorry. Oh, cry. Anyways, next. Kristen wasn't your typical girl in high school. Most girls, I feel, young girls are very needy and always need a boyfriend. Even if they don't truly like them, they just always need a boyfriend on the side. And Kristen wasn't like that. She had standards. Sorry. Kristen had what we call standards. So she wasn't, she didn't need that. She was picky. And it's funny that the picky of all my friends actually got married first. And it's people like her that remind me that patience is a virtue. But it seems ironic that the most picky girl would get married first. But it makes sense, because a woman who has the faith and courage to stand alone till the right one comes along is a woman that truly deserves her reward. And God rewards those who wait. And I know God is going to bless this marriage until death do you part. And I look forward to watching you guys grow in love and with the Lord. I love you, Chris, and hope you will, man. And I always will. Congratulations, you two, to a well-deserved long life of true love.
Look out, sweetie. Here, go over there. Come over here then, Francis. Uncle Dave's trying to take a picture on it. Get over here. Francis.
That's alright, I was a week
Turn it out. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. One hop this time. Reverse. Reverse. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Reverse, reverse. Reverse, reverse.
Careful
now, y'all.
Yeah, don't go down the hill.
Cha-cha now, y'all. Cha-cha again. Turn it out to the right. Slide to the left. Take it back now, y'all. Cha-cha now. Yeah, do that stuff too.
That's my other son.
Son number 3. Almost, Addison.